Hello everyone, Vicky Verley here, Rock and Roll Prophetess. Today we're going to take a look at mainly the eclipse, because this is the eclipse happening on August 12th, which is the first eclipse in Leo that's going to set off an 18-month cycle with eclipses in Leo. But it's also within a few days of the Lion's Gate, and then there's the South Node in Leo too. So there's major Leo energy, and it's affecting everyone, not just Leo. So we're going to go through and go sign by sign, and we're going to talk a little bit about the house placement it falls in, and then we're also going to pull a couple cards. So I wanted to pull this out. I use this calendar all the time when I'm doing the Patreon readings. We go through every day and talk about it, but for instance here, this is the week. This is the 8th, the Lion's Gate, okay? And then look at leading up to the solar eclipse. I don't know if you can see this. These are all the planet-to-planet aspects here. They're 4 degrees, 4 degrees, 4 degrees, 4 degrees, 5 degrees, 5 degrees, 6 degrees. This is this basket configuration, and it's over here too. Well, it's 14 degrees, but it's active. It's been active since July, but it's really between the time frame of the Lion's Gate and then the eclipse, which is 1, 2, 3, 4 days later. It's active, 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 because of the planets moving into Leo, the sun and everything, but it also because the Venus in Libra is a big part of it too. That's connecting all the dots with all these 4 and 5 degree angles. If you want to look at the eclipse reading and that I'm offering, it's available for a limited time, and we'll dive into all this stuff as it relates to your chart, because even if you're not Leo, there's something hitting something somewhere in your chart. There's plenty of stuff to look at, and it's a kind of a dichotomy. It's this exciting new chapter as we're moving. Jupiter's in Leo as well, and we're moving into this Leo energy. But the South Node is in Leo, and that's a time of releasing. But we're having a new moon eclipse in Leo, which is a new beginning. So it's sort of a dichotomy, but the houses are really going to tell the tale, Well, in your personal chart, what planets that you're being aspected from, if you wanted to get that reading, that'll tell the tale. Yeah, and by the way, you're watching the Rock and Roll Prophetess on YouTube, and you can find me at vickyverley.com for any of the readings I offer. This is just a special reading that's going on for now. If you prefer more card-oriented readings, I have those available as well. I have soul readings, which are astrology-based past life readings. But always remember that you go through my website, because there are so many imposters out there, and they usually go through social media with fake accounts and different things. So just be wary of that. In my case, it's always through my website. If you enjoy my content, please do hit the like, subscribe, and hype. It's highly appreciated. So now, without further ado, let's start into the sign by sign. There'll be timestamps in the bottom, but also whatever sign I'm reading will always be displayed in the bottom right here. So if I happen to make a mistake and say the wrong thing, sometimes that happens. Myself and my guides both know that whatever sign is being displayed down here, that's what we're reading for, okay? And so let's start with Aries. So this is all in your 5th house. Fun. I'm hearing that fun, 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 till your daddy takes your T-boat away. Yeah, so you're going to having fun, 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 creativity, children. In these social houses here, which the 5th house is one of the social houses, it's love and romance, it's fun, creativity. If you were to meet somebody, because the South Node brings in past life stuff too, and I do have that soul reading. That's another thing I offer on my website. I look at your South Node and things in your chart specifically. But the South Node, if you were to meet somebody in a romantic way, you could, and there would definitely be a major past life connection with that South Node being in there in the 5th house. The South Node in the 5th house could be of children being born into your life. They could be from a past life connection. If you decided that you have this inkling to do this creative project or something, this could be a skill that you've cultivated over many past lives, because this South Node is going to bring in that past life thing. The South Node also wants you to let go. So it would want you to let go of any inhibitions that you might have, or feelings of, well, I'm not good enough, I don't know how to do that, these kinds of things. But yeah, powerful beginnings in 5th house matters. Love, creativity, children, etc. Okay, starting on the Lion's Gate of the 8th and rolling right on through to the 12th and beyond, honestly. Okay, let's get 2 cards for Aries, Sun, Rising, Moon about this whole Lion's Gate portal with the eclipse. We've got the 9 of Pentacles and the 5 of Cups. See, there's that element of the past, which I was bringing up when I was talking about, the South Node, which is the past as well. So the Five of Cups is very much a card about the past too. It talks about something that you thought was over. You gave up on it. But yet, there was still full cups available. There was still something good there. There was still some full cups. All was not lost. It was all was not diminished, my guides want me to say. You have the Nine of Pentacles as the first card, so it could be some kind of financial thing. Maybe some of you, your business is running like clockwork, and now you have time for those creative pursuits or doing the things that you love. Or maybe you retire and you're going to always do that creative thing that you wanted to do. In both cases, there's a castle, and it's really standing out to me. So it could be something having to do with your home or a castle. Maybe you live a place where they actually do have castles around, or you might be visiting somewhere like that. Fifth house could be, having some, with Jupiter there, it could be travel, vacation, fun, something like that. But it looks like much prosperity is tied into this. And I almost want to say that thing of do what you love and the money will follow. So it's about pursuing the fun and the creativity. Whether the creativity is necessarily the arts or not, it doesn't necessarily have to be. It could be anything, creative ideas for business. Very much so it could be with this Nine of Pentacles here. Whatever this creative flow or these ideas and downloads that you're getting, it could tie to the past, number one. And number two, it could also tie into your prosperity, or especially if you're an entrepreneur with the Nine of Pentacles, that could be having your own business, entrepreneurial things, and that could say that, you could have new and exciting creative ideas to apply to your business. All right, Taurus, you're up next. Well, this is down here in your fourth house. You might be thinking about moving. You might be thinking about doing something different with your house, remodeling, something along these lines. There is a tie to the past, perhaps, or past lives again with this nodal connection, this south node. So some of you might be moving back to where you used to live, or visiting there perhaps, but maybe thinking about moving back there, or somewhere that you visited as a child. Or perhaps some of you, like I bought my grandmother's house in '96. I've been here 30 years already. So maybe you're going to go do that, buy your grandmother's house, or move to the town where they lived, or some other family member where you have your roots are. The fourth house is your roots. And there could be changes, but it wouldn't be upheaval changes. It would be more of changes, although with the eclipse it could be a little bit of an upheaval. But with Jupiter and all this stuff, it feels more like it's like, a longing, or, you're happy about it, or you're excited about it, these types of things. Okay, let's go ahead and get two cards. Some of you may meet a childhood, somebody you grew up with, a friend, or somebody that you knew as a child and come back into your life. Seven of Cups is dreams are becoming a reality, visualizing what you want, creating your reality. And then it's followed up with this King of Rods here. So the King of Rods is the fire sign energy. Very well could be a Leo, because we're in Leo season. It's a Leo eclipse. But it could also be an actual person who is any of the fire signs, which would be an Aries, a Leo, or a Sagittarius. Visualizing dreams come true. What I get about this is, again, that childhood thing. Maybe it was somebody, when you were kids, you said, oh, when we grow up, we're going to do this together. We're going to have this business. We're going to have this. We have this dream together. Well, it feels like you have a shared dream with somebody, no matter whether there's a childhood connection or not. There's even a lion on this card, so it's very Leo-esque. But it could be more like somebody you're visioning your life with now, and they may be a fire sign, again, Leo, Aries, Sag. The thing that I like is that they're a king. So if this was a childhood thing, it says now you're grown up. Now this person wants to really make it happen. Take it out of the dream state, because the King of Fire, all the fire signs are very action oriented. They're doers. They're go-getters. Okay, so this is somebody who, and he's a king. It could be anybody. It doesn't have to be a man necessarily, but this person is a go-getter, but they're a king, so they're not just talking out their butt, basically. A king has the means and the connections and the experience and the know-how. My guides are saying can-do attitude. So they have this can-do attitude. And it's not just all talk, it's action-oriented. So you may be connecting with somebody, maybe there's a tie into the past. Like I was telling Aries, it could be a past life connection too at the South Node. But it could also be like, say you want to remodel your house, or you're looking for a house. This could be the contractor or the realtor or the landscape artist or somebody that could help make your dreams and what you're visualizing and you're dreaming of, create it into a reality. All right, Taurus, if you want to get in on the eclipse reading and take a personal look, it's a limited time, go to my website or other readings that I offer. Your support is much appreciated. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons, always appreciated. Okay, next up we're going to take a look at the sign of Gemini. Well, Gemini, this is in your 3rd house, which is your home house. You are the natural ruler of the 3rd house, so this is a big emphasis on what you're already all about, basically. Communication, short distance travel, news, a whole bunch of them flipped the wrong way, I'm not going to take them. News, travel, communication. Good time to, here one flew all the way out, just one, we'll take it. Good time to send out those inquiries. Good time to write that book, pull that manuscript out again, get into your writing again. Journaling, writing, short distance trips, It could be a fun thing, with the South Node too. It might be some kind of, you might feel some past life connection, but it could also be somewhere that you have a tie to in the past, something from the past that you have a tie to. Let's get one more card for Gemini for the Leo eclipse. High Priestess. Well, you're really in flow with your work here. This the 3 of Cups and the High Priestess is like I said, to get out that writing project, get out that journaling book. Even if you're just journaling or doing morning pages, maybe you're not, you're just kind of like dumping, it's kind of like a big mind dump or something like that. With the High Priestess showing here, and with the eclipse energy too, and the South Node and Jupiter, it could really be bringing in some deep insights. Even if you don't see it right away, just start doing it, okay? Just start working on it. It doesn't have to be a means to an end. It doesn't have to be any great revelations right this minute. But there's something else going on there. And with the High Priestess too, it's like if you are doing like morning pages or some kind of creative projects where you're writing or anything where you're expressing yourself, basically, this intuitive quality, there's a connection. You're going to be very much in flow with the muse, you could say, like that. And, you're working on something and you're getting a lot accomplished here. That's what it looks like. All right, Geminis, well, this is just a little mini reading. I have a longer, extended readings on my channel, The Rock and Roll Prophetess. But also, if you want to dive into how these eclipses would affect you, because you're involved in that boat thing, or I called it a boat, but it's so basket, they're calling it everything. But whatever, that whole 4-degree thing, that involves your sign too, because you have the Uranus in Gemini in your sign. So that would be a big topic of discussion if you'd like to order a reading. If not, that's cool. Check out my other things on my channel. And I appreciate you tuning in today. Please do hit the like and subscribe because it helps me and helps the channel. Next we're going to look at the sign of Cancer. Well, this is all in your 2nd house of money, Cancer. So money stuff, looking for a new job, looking into your investments, launching that website, launching that social media business page, looking into a new job, some kind of new business money opportunity, things of this nature. This is all going to be highly favored under this energetic influx here. Okay, so let me go ahead and get 2 cards for the Cancer Sun, Rising, Moon peeps for this whole Leo new moon eclipse. We've got the Ace of Rods planting those seeds that are going to bloom and flourish. And then the 6 of Cups, the tie into the past again, yeah. So there is a big tie into the past for everyone because the South Node is involved. The South Node has just moved into Leo. Something that you wanted to do as a kid even. Maybe it was like, hey, when I grow up, I want to do this, or I'm going to be this when I grow up. What were those things that you said back when you were a child? This could also be something having to do with your own children or children that you happen to be around out of the mouths of babes, And then this Ace of Rods, somebody says, or if you're taking care of children, or you're a caretaker to children, mother, grandmother, whatever the case might be, work at a daycare, something like that, nanny. And this problem arises, and then you're like, you know what, we need to have this thing. You might invent something, And you might take it to market. My guides are saying, take it to market, take it to market. So you might take it to market and boom, it really takes off and it really explodes. When I was saying take it to market too, it might be these kids if you actually are going to like the market. I usually call it the grocery store. Some people call it the supermarket, but I used to say back in the day, I'm going to the market, Where I live, if you say you're going to the market, it's a specific place. It's this big open air ethnic market with all these stands and everything, and people call it the market. Maybe market is some kind of stock market thing if you're into that too. That could definitely be too. Maybe if you are looking in, I'm not a financial advisor by any means, but if you are looking into some kind of investing in stocks, maybe you do want to invest in that company that is affiliated with children or child's products or a child's education or anything along those lines, or where you have some nostalgic childhood memory of it. I'm picking up like a specific brand of like peanut butter or a game or something like that you have this attachment to, or that brings back happy childhood memories. Could also be for some, disregarding the second house for a minute, this could be sparking up with an old love again too, just looking at the cards. Hey, if you haven't checked out the full monthly reading, it's a much longer extended reading. And if you like this format, I do something really similar on Patreon as well. Otherwise, check your sun, rising, moon. If you want to look into the eclipses as it pertains to specifically to you, you could always order that reading. I have other readings as well, always through my website. Please be advised that there are imposters out there. All right, Leo. Well, wow, this is all about you. Well, the world just flipped over here. The card flipped over. Yeah, it's the world. I've said this before if you haven't watched some of the other readings, but yeah, there hasn't been much activity for Leos for a while. Because I go through and do this Patreon thing every week, and it's just like, well, nothing in your sign exactly, Leo, but it affects everybody, which is true. But now not everything in your sign, but a lot of the big players are there. South Node, reevaluating things from the past, particularly things from the past pertaining to like 18, 19 years ago. I should have told this for everybody. These are the times when you've had at least this nodal thing in your sign before. Would have been 2008 and 2009. 1989 to 1990, 1970, 1972. So, and if you were born during these times, you're having nodal return. Not only that, though, these are the times when Jupiter was in these placements. It would have been the earlier part of it. It would have been 2014, 02, 1990, 79, etc. And these are the times, if you were born during these times, you're having a Jupiter return. But it is good to reflect back on those times in that era. I'm just looking here, and 1990 would have been on both of them. Look at that. In 1990 to 1991, we would have had both of them. So really mid-year to the end of 1990. So if you were alive during that time, and that could be a very good time to really, well, for everybody, but specifically for you because it is in your sign. A lot of letting go of the past, a lot of reevaluating your relationships because this is in the South Node, but then the North Node is in your 7th house of partnerships. Let's get one more card for our Leo risings for this Leo eclipse. This is the first eclipse of, a while. It's going to be a couple years now where there will be eclipses in your sign. So it is turning points. It is big changes. It looks like a grand opportunity is being presented to you, Leo. That's what I'm getting with this World card. But it's going to require a lot of work. Okay. For some of you, you may be coming to an end of it, because a lot of times this Ten of Wands is a card of coming to an end of a hard work cycle, where you've been working really hard and you're almost there. You're almost to that end goal. And then that is that cycle of completion. Things are going to be better than you thought they were, though. That's the big thing I'm getting on it. And you're even on this card. There's a Leo down in the bottom corner there. Things are going to turn out better than you even anticipated. That's really the big news and the big vibe that I'm getting out of this. Your hard work is going to pay off. You may be taking on a big project that is going to require a lot of hard work and effort. But again, it looks like it's going to come full circle. And it looks like it's going to be really worth it. I mean, the ball is literally in your court all over the place, Leo. The spotlight's on you. As I've said in some of the other readings, though, you're perfectly comfortable in the spotlight. You don't shirk that spotlight at all. So this is a great time of empowerment. Watch that you don't get your ego too blown up. Try to remain humble. Try to, with the North Node in the 7th, think of the other person. You know, be the magnanimous you that you are, you know, Leo. Hey, if you want to look into this, I mean, stuff is really hitting your planets. You can check out the eclipse reading or any of the readings I have there over on my website only. Don't be fooled by imposters. Next, we're going to look at the sign of Virgo. Well, this is all in your 12th house, and it's the South Node. 12th house is the past, South Node is the past. So there's a lot of energy coming up from the past, finishing up of old cycles. Past lives are coming. I mean, I do have that past life reading, too. I have the Soul's Journey reading, which is a past life reading. So there's all sorts of things from the past, spirit guides coming forward, spiritual insights and downloads. This could be a highly insightful time, you know, to really get these downloads and messages from your guides, Leo. I was funny I said Leo, but I know we're doing Virgo. I know, because the stuff is in Leo. You know, everything's in Leo. Not everything, but a lot of stuff is. Okay. But let's go ahead and get a couple cards for Virgo for the Leo eclipse happening on August 12th for Virgos. Sun, rising, moon, whatever you check. 6 of Wands, triumph and victory. Yay. Followed by the 9 of Pentacles. So this could be making great strides in work, career, abundance, entrepreneurial things when you have this Queen of, it's funny, I was going to say Queen of Pentacles, but it's actually the 9 of Pentacles. It's interesting because what's happening, yeah, the Leo stuff's in your 12th, but then the North Node and Pluto are opposing the North Node and Pluto, and that's in your 6th. And that is that card of work. And you even have the 6 as the first card out. So, you know, we've got the 6 energy. But this is a card of triumph, victory, getting promoted. If you've been laid off, you could get called back to work with this 12th house activation for sure. You might get called back. Or maybe somewhere place that you applied to or put in a resume with maybe 6 months ago or 6 weeks ago. Because we are coming out of that Mercury retrograde shadow too. So things could have been boggled and delayed and whatnot. And then 9 of Pentacles, you're over here and you're getting that big recognition, that big, you know, boost, that big financial gain, you know, something like that. Maybe you're going to get the loan to start your own business or some kind of thing that's, you know, you're going to, maybe if you already have a business, that the spotlight is on, you know, there's some kind of a spotlight where you are chosen, you get picked, you get the loan, you get the acknowledgement, you get the recognition. Could even be some old social media post that you posted 6 weeks ago or something, and all of a sudden it's getting a lot of traction and you know, people are noticing you and this business thing, because there is a very strong tie into the past for you, Virgo, so keep that in mind. But boy, does it look like some nice success with business. All right, Virgos, if you want to, I do have the more extended reading, my monthly reading over on my channel here, Rock and Roll Prophetess. If you're new and you haven't seen that, check it out. But also I do offer personal readings, and I am offering the eclipse reading as a special for this month only. And it'll look exactly into your planets. I also have card and other readings on my website and a Patreon channel where I do astrology and tarot similar to this. Okay, next we're going to look at the sign of Libra. Well, Libra, you're involved because, you know, it's your 11th house, so it's friends and associates, the Leo energy. Friends and associates, money from the career. But also, Libra, you know, the Venus is in your sign. And the Venus in Libra at the time of the eclipse is coming in and filling in that 4 and 5 degree basket stuff all over the place. I mean, you're at the time of the eclipse, I have my notes right here because I've been doing the eclipse readings. You know, you're connecting with Mercury, you're connecting with Mars, Uranus, Chiron and Pluto. I mean, it's just all these planets are just lining up. So you're very much involved in this, and a lot of energy could be flowing your way. The larger group of people could really be noticing you, and my guides are saying paying you homage. So maybe you're going to get some kind of award or acknowledgement. Venus in your sign too will also give you a lot of charm. People will really find you very charming and attractive. And the other thing is Venus is your ruling planet too. So that's right in your wheelhouse there. You are charming and attractive anyway, but it's just really amped up when Venus is there. You got Ace of Cups and Hierophant. Very interesting. Ace of Cups is a new beginning in love, creativity, but it's very much a Venus energy, like I was just talking about Venus in your sign. And then the Hierophant is the large group or organization, and that's where this Leo energy is, in your 11th house of large groups and people. So something new is beginning that's going to, you got the in, you got the keys to the kingdom. You know, somehow they're noticing you. They're inviting you. They want you to be in their club. They want you to be in their work. Or you find, maybe you find even a church or spiritual kind of a place that you like. And you really like it and you fit right in if you've been searching for something like that. Or some kind of a group that meets regularly. Maybe something that it fills your heart with, let me fill your heart with joy and laughter. My guides are coming through with some songs. If you're new here, they do that from time to time. Yeah, so it fills your heart with joy and laughter. And there's a larger group of people, or it might even be, this could be an online group too, because the Hierophant can be definitely, and 11th house can be too. You know, but there's this, you're connecting, this spark within you is going out and connecting with others and then strongly like reinforcing it, and it's bringing you a lot of joy and happiness. All right, Libra, well, like I said, the eclipse is in Venus. It's going to be right, there's some action in your sign. So if you want to get the eclipse reading, head over to my website. That's available for a limited time. Or any of the readings that I offer. There's other types of readings there that are always available. Very affordable too. Also, I do a longer monthly extended reading that's free to view on my Rock and Roll Prophetess channel. If you haven't already checked that out, then please do. All right, next we're going to look at the sign of Scorpio. Well, Scorpio, this is up in your 10th house of career, achievement, these types of things. Getting that acknowledgement. My guides are saying getting that blue ribbon. I mean, in the Northern Hemisphere, it is the time of year where we have these state fairs. So if you are somebody that does have like a big, you know, your giant pumpkin, or your, you know, your whatever, something that you're considering taking to the state fair, you might get that blue ribbon. But that's also just an expression and a, you know, a euphemism or a metaphor for, you know, just doing great work, getting acknowledgement, you know, you're on the rise, your career is on the rise. And there's a tie into the past, you know. Some of you, in this case, you might have to let something go with that South Node. You might have to let something go, but it's not like a negative thing. You let something go to reach for this newer thing that's more enticing, more beautiful, more wonderful. Okay, let's see what the cards have to say for Scorpio. Got the Wheel of Fortune. There you go. Lovely. Take that, right, Scorps? And then the Page of Pentacles. Well, you know, money is coming your way. That's what we're talking about, money, career. You know, the wheel is, the astrology is a wheel. You know, things go in a wheel. They go round and round. We want to maybe look at these last years, you know, 2014 to 2015, 02, 03, 99, you know, etc. You can just look at it right here and freeze the frame. The nodal things are down here too, but the Jupiter is more when these are the last time we had these eclipses, so you might want to consider this, yeah. These are the last time we've had these eclipses in those time frames. But, you know, for me, people don't realize this, but I was the very first tarot reader on YouTube, you know. And I've invented this format, more or less, of doing the monthly sign by signs and everything. And now there's just, you know, thousands of them, so it's whatever it is, you know. But that all started around that time frame. Around 2014 is when my channel just really took off. So, you know, and it was, I'm a Scorpio rising, and it was this big career thing. So now, you know, maybe some other aspect of your career will take advantage. Whatever it is, the Wheel of Fortune says it's divine timing, and it also is when the wheel is up and all this stuff is at the top of your wheel, you know, this is the top, that this is a time of, you know, good luck, good fortune, very positive energy. And with the Page of Pentacles, it looks like there's some news coming about money, and money could be coming your way, and, you know, success and money. All right, Scorpio, I have a lot of readings, various kinds, but I am offering that eclipse reading for a limited time if you want to check out my website. And make sure that you're looking at my website, not these social media imposters. Hope you enjoyed your reading. If you missed the monthly big extended reading, please do check that out on my channel, Rock and Roll Prophetess. Thanks for tuning in, and next we're going to move on to the sign of Sagittarius. Okay, Sagittarius. Hello, Sagittarius. Well, this stuff is all happening, this Leo stuff is all happening in your 9th house. And that's kind of your natural ruler house, because you rule the 9th house in the flat wheel. So it's all the stuff that's about you. It's long distance travel, it's higher education, it's foreign cultures and things of this nature. All of this stuff could come into play and be very interesting. I mean, it's August, so maybe some of you are planning a vacation. That could be the long-distance travel. It could be as simple as that, or it could be much more deep and multi-tiered and multi-level. Maybe there's some deep spiritual work that you're doing at this time. Maybe you're, in getting involved in some kind of a course of study or something like that. Okay, let me shuffle up, and then we're going to do 2 cards for Sagittarius for the Leo eclipse and Lionsgate energy in August of 2026. What do we have? Got the Queen of Pentacles, that's an earth sign presence or a money person, and then the Page of Cups. Yeah, some of you, this is a person. This is maybe an earth sign person, a Taurus, a Capricorn, or a Virgo. Could be a work trip or something that you have to do that you're really more invested in because it's work, money related, with this Queen of Pentacles here. But with this Page of Cups here, there is this spiritual component. There is this higher knowledge that's being imparted, or you're getting this download from this higher source or something like that. Sometimes this could be the soul of a baby, and the 9th house, I believe, is the house of grandchildren. So if you're of that age range where there's grandchild maybe coming, that could be that as well. And this could be the soul of that child that's still in spirit. And then the Queen of Pentacles, this could be maybe they're going to be born in Virgo time or during an earth sign time. So that would be Virgo, and that which would be September. And then beyond that, after Virgo, the next earth sign is Capricorn, which is end of December into January. And then beyond that is in the spring is Taurus. And the rabbit, it would grab me right away at the beginning too. And the rabbit is also a fertility and pregnancy. So something is fertile. It doesn't necessarily have to be a person or a baby being born. It can be, something. You're fertile. You're fertile with creative ideas. You're fertile you're excited, and you're into this new knowledge that you're learning, this topic that you're exploring and you're learning, and you're just devouring all this, this new thing. Maybe you're visiting somewhere, because there is there is a past life. You may be visiting somewhere and you feel like you've been there before, and that could be maybe some sort of a past life connection. Or, of course, you could have a past life connection with this child, which is usually the case if it's your child or grandchild. Usually, they're not just some rando who snuck in there, Usually there is a past life connection and a soul plan and a soul path plan, okay? So it looks really kind of mystical, but also with the pentacle, maybe kind of practical and down to earth too. So it's a balancing of those two energies. Hey Sag, if you missed I do a monthly extended reading over on my channel, The Rock and Roll Prophetess. So if you missed that, you want a little bit more, you can go there. If you want to dive into a personal reading, I have several kinds available on my website. Turnaround time is usually within 1 week. The special I'm running is the eclipse reading, where we'll not only look at this eclipse, but the second eclipse in Pisces at the end of the month as well. Next, we're going to take a look at the sign of Capricorn. Well, Capricorn, this is in your 8th house of joint money, finance, investments, money that's not earned, coming from an outside source of some kind. So it is a financial house, usually, but it also does deal with sex, death, and taxes as well. So all of those areas could really be highlighted here. Now, the South Node, it could be something from that you forgot about. Some old, I said this to somebody recently in one of the recent, I don't know if it was a private reading or one of the YouTube readings, but it came up, it's coming up again. Maybe there's some savings bond or something, like, you had, when you were a kid, or your parents got you some kind of little savings bond in a small amount, and then you go and come to find out that, oh wow, it's really grown, and it's really worth something substantial. So go and look in those envelopes and those drawers for those savings bonds, or even check, maybe you want to check the unclaimed funds at this time, because there could be more than just a few bucks there, with this 8th house energy. Okay, let's go ahead and get 2 cards for Capricorn, Sun, Rising, Moon peeps for the August Lion's Portal and Eclipse energy. The Devil's here, but that's your card. You were ruled by it. That's your card. And then the Ace of Pentacles. My guys are saying you've been looking to unload something. Looks like you could sell something, or maybe cash in, some kind of a joint finance thing, an IRA or whatever, some kind of a thing that you have jointly invested with your other people. And it feels like it's just not really doing you any good anymore. You've held on to it for a long time, and now maybe you want to sell it. The other thing is maybe you've held on to something for a long time, like I used the example of those savings bonds or whatever. And now all of a sudden it's starting, I have things like that. I have various websites that these POD, pay on demand, print on demand things. And I'll go check them every now and then. And they're like, oh, maybe I have $2 or $3, $7 in there or something. Maybe it's something that you don't really check that often because, it's just like, oh, I'll check it a couple times a year. I might have a few bucks in there and I can withdraw it. But all of a sudden, it starts producing. If you have several streams of income, which is usually not unusual for a Capricorn to have several streams of income. So maybe something that's been just kind of, or maybe it's even just been this tax write-off or something for a while. It feels like it's just been this thing, like it's just like this extra thing that's really not, it's just weighing you down and not really doing you any good. Boom, all of a sudden it could start producing. I'm trying to say producing, and what wanted to come out of my mouth was rehearsing. So maybe if you are involved in something where there would be rehearsals, so maybe it's been this long-suffering thing that you're trying to get them financing for, some kind of a production or even a film project or something like that, or a play, and now all of a sudden you can start rehearsing. But whatever it is, it feels like it's been kind of stuck, and now all of a sudden, boom, it's starting to happen. Or somebody wants to buy it and take it off your hands. That's another thing I'm getting. So that looks very favorable and positive too. Well, Cap, if you want to dive in, we'll look exactly at your chart and see how things are going. You can always order that eclipse reading or any of the readings I have on my site. Don't be fooled by social media imposters. Also, if you like my channel, please do hit the like and subscribe. And if you missed, I do have an extended monthly reading on my channel that goes into much more detail. If you're interested, check it out. All right, next we're going to take a look at the sign of Aquarius. Well, Aquarius, now, this isn't in your house, okay? It's not in your sign. It's in your opposite sign of Leo, right? But the north node has moved into your house, into your sign. So the north node is in your sign, the south node is in Leo, and that's what's causing these eclipses to happen with the nodes. So your energy is very much involved in it. Not only that, at that time frame between the Lion's Gate and when we're having all those aspects, Pluto is at 3 degrees in your sign, so that's getting activated. So it could be a time of major change and disruption in your life. Now, it doesn't have to be bad. For some of you, you can meet somebody that just blows your mind. If you're single and you're like, oh, that's it, I'm staying single. Guess what? The universe will put somebody in your path that's very different and could be change your world, rock your world. The other thing is, if you're already coupled, this could be some kind of crazy or big opportunity or life-changing opportunity or situation for your partner, and therefore it's also affecting you and your life and your lifestyle. So let's go ahead and get 2 cards for Aquarius, Sun, Rising, Moon peeps for this upcoming Leo eclipse and Lionsgate portal. Well, if you've been feeling kind of stuck too, this is similar to the Capricorn reading, honestly. This is like, oh, I don't have enough money, or I've been stuck, or I've been trying to get this thing going and I just don't, or my energy's drained. This is a card of being kind of in lack. It feels like, bam, there's going to be this resurgence of energy. This Page of Swords looks like, you're more charged up than ever. You feel more power than ever. You feel like you did when you feel like a kid again. And that could be too with the relationship. Maybe you're just like, oh, I'm too old and broken down to have a relationship. I got enough to worry about. I don't need the drama or whatever. And then next thing you know, oh, I'm in love and I feel like a kid again. I get this big revitalization, this big glow up, because after all, the Page of Swords is a representation of you at a much younger age, apparently. Well, it depends on your age, but I mean, pages are usually children, or very young adults, adolescents, things like this. It also can be news. I used to always read the pages I usually read the pages as only news. And I would say all the young dudes carry the news, messengers, But in this instance, I'm feeling like it is something regarding you at some younger time in your life, or you feeling reinvigorated or re-energized, like kids, when you're around kids ever, and it's like, man, where do you get your energy? Like, they never run out of energy, So it's like you have that. You get this burst. and you're not in this state anymore. You're like, I feel young, I feel invigorated, I feel ready for anything. So there's something that's really going to wake up within you and give you this glow up and give you this recharge your batteries and recharge your energy. Probably coming from another person too, involving another person, highly likely. Well, Aquarius, if you haven't seen, go over to my channel if you haven't seen the big monthly extended reading. This is just the mini updates I do periodically throughout the month, but I have a longer reading for all that's totally free. If you like my content, please hit the like and subscribe. If you want to dive into that eclipse, because Pluto is a player in this, and the North Node is a player in this, in your sign. So if you want to look into that, or any of the other readings I offer, always through my website, vickyverley.com. Don't be fooled by these imposters on social media. All right, Pisces, you're up next. So this is in your 6th house of work, health, daily routines, pets, these types of things. And you know, this is the Leo eclipse on August 12th. But later in the month, on the 28th, we're also going to have an eclipse in your sign. So in that eclipse readings, I look at both of those placements. We look at all this. It's one reading, but you get both eclipses all wrapped up into one. So yeah, this is exciting time, big changes. It's finally the end of the cycle of this one on the 28th of this month of August of 26. August 28th of 2026. That's going to be the second eclipse. That's not what this reading's about, but I just want to bring it in because it's it's important to you. This will be the last of the eclipses. You've been through the gamut of the eclipses, so this is wrapping that up and it's starting a new cycle. The 6th house is like you're ready to get to work. You're excited about getting to work on something. The 6th house is health, so it could absolutely be something with your health. Maybe you want to start a new diet routine, a new exercise routine, a new fitness routine, something like I'm hearing taking the stairs. Could be something like that. But you're feeling enlivened and invigorated, and you're ready to get to work. You've come through the gamut of all this Saturn and the eclipses and everything like that. There'll be one more to finish it off, one more full moon eclipse, but this is starting the next cycle. So what have you learned over the last, year and a half? Well, actually 3 years with Saturn in there too. Through all these trials and tribulations that you've been through in these recent years, with these planets in your sign, what have you learned? How are you going to implement it? How are you going to use it? And this could be just the spark you need to really get things rolling. So let's get 2 cards for Pisces for the Leo eclipse. We have the Magician. That's kind of what I was just saying. You're just charged up and ready to go. Okay. Yeah, you're charged up and ready to go, and spirits and angels are opening doors for you with the Temperance card. They're making things happen. The number 14 is really standing out to me. So we're having the Lion's Gate on the 8th, the eclipse on the 12th, and then the 14th would be like 2 days later. So it might be just that whole, well, the eclipse energy does last for at least 6 months anyway, so it's not that unusual. It's not unusual to be loved by anyone. Wa-na-na-na-na. Yeah, my guides come through with the songs. 2 things that are standing out to me. The infinity symbol above his head, and then over here, this crown symbol in the background. So something, and she's got the light coming out of her head. Something about, it could be those, you have these we have our 7 chakras, or is it 7 or whatever, but if there's chakras that go above your out of your body too. You have your crown chakra. It could be a crown chakra activation too, with this showing up. But you have these chakras that go on and beyond your body. You might be tuning in or activating something like that, or that Merkaba energy is coming through, something like that. It also could be something you might want to wear on your head, a particular hat, or maybe it is some kind of crown or headband, that does have, because they both have headbands on too, that does have some kind of energetic, maybe it's full of stones. You can find those kind of things on Etsy all over the place. They're adorned with stones, or you could make one of your own, or even one out of macrame, they're showing me. That's like a stones woven in and a headband or something, because maybe there's something about that. It also is your head, so your head chakra, your crown chakra, your head chakra, your third eye is in that region, but really the part above the head is really showing me something. So I don't know if that's going to mean something to somebody, but it's unusual that that's showing up for me. But yeah, you're ready to get to work. The fog is clearing. the oppression, the burdens with Saturn that have been holding you down, the eclipses, you know, you think you're onto something, then the eclipse throws you off the track when the eclipses were in your sign and everything. Now you're in a more stable place. Sixth house is a very stable, it's Virgo's house, you know, it's stability, it's being in that grounded, stable place. And you want to hit the ground running, you're ready for anything, and then, but you're also working with your guides and angels, and they're opening doors for you. I keep getting that. Your guides and angels are opening doors for you, and then you're more than willing to walk through. You're prepared. You've done you're prepared. You've done your homework. You're prepared to walk through. So it's very powerful. And then again, there will be the second eclipse in your sign. So if you want to get a reading from me on the eclipse or anything, always remember through my website, Pisces, please don't be fooled by social media imposters. If you could like, hype, share these videos, it's always appreciated as well. Hope you have a great eclipse, Lions Gate and eclipse portal. I feel like it's going to be a good one for most people. It's supercharged with a lot of energy. If you want to look into all the eclipses, especially you because you have the second one in your chart, you know, always through my website. Don't forget, at VickyReilly.com. Thanks so much for tuning in. Have a great one. I'll be back again soon with another reading. Till then, bye-bye.